Let's look at some resources when you're doing face-to-face delivery. We'll look at the seating plan, and we'll look at something beyond face-to-face delivery, whether it's e-learning or face-to-face. We're looking at some little tips for powerful PowerPoints. So first of all, this is a classroom layout, so you can see the data projector in the center, and even if you don't have the data projector resource, if you still have a whiteboard, a blackboard, or some type of butcher's paper or visual focus, that would obviously then be in the center, so everybody on the left and the right hand side can see through the middle. And obviously then you could have the lecturer off to one side so they're not obstructing the view. A great opportunity too is to have the lecturer, have you as the trainer standing up so you can walk backwards and forwards while the data projector isn't playing, so long as you're not blocking useful information that you may have written on the whiteboard. You can also be walking up and down the aisle. And that's a great way to engage and connect with the learners, offer some praise, some feedback, checking for understanding. This style is a cabaret style, so it depends on the resources. If you were hiring a function room, you might request that it's the circular desks in cabaret style, and this is particularly useful if you're going to be doing any small group work, because all of the learners can see you quite clearly. The ones right on the side here will have to turn their chairs, and please invite them to turn their chairs to the front. You don't want any OH&S issues with crick necks by the end of your training session. But yeah, certainly great for group work. Offers you lots of space to walk in between groups as well. Your U-shape presentation. Now you'll notice that there's some chairs on the inside here, and that was left in to demonstrate that during your group work you can actually invite your learners to bring some of their chairs into the inside so they're facing opposite, and you can break them up into pockets of groups or even possibly in pairs that way. You'll see that the teacher is at the front, so obviously during your lesson bite, your lecture, it's probably best to have those chairs not in use. I don't particularly like this one because you've got the majority of your learners having to crick their necks to the side to see you. So you would, if this is the only option available for you, be mindful that at the beginning you invite everyone to swivel their chairs around or physically move their chairs around so they're facing you. Then they only have to crick their neck down if they need to write something on a piece of paper. We're on to powerful PowerPoints. So there's a couple of concepts I just want to share with you. You'll notice that our PowerPoints here at Evoke are accompanied by narration. So the elaboration of the information is being spoken, and the PowerPoints remain a visual reinforcement. Okay, that's applying what's called the rule of 7. No more than 7 words per line, no more than 7 lines per page, per PowerPoint slide. Okay, so let's count these ones here and see if I've made the rule of 7. Now this excludes your title. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines, so we've kept it under the 7 lines per slide or per page. Now no more than 7 words. Let's look. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, we've kept them all. Oh, maybe this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No. So there's lots of white space, and it's visually simple to take the information in. Now, if you require the PowerPoint to be a source of lots of theory, you can actually set your PowerPoint view. If we go into view on PowerPoint, you can go into a notes page, and this would allow you to print lots and lots of text. It could be the script for each PowerPoint slide, and that would be good if you're a supervising trainer and you were wanting to provide the PowerPoint slides and suggested scripts to go with them. Or it may not be used for a script, it might be to give more elaborated notes on what you're looking at. Then the learner has an opportunity to print those with the notes. So if we went into print all slides, where's the note? There's a notes page view. So then they could have your PowerPoint and have all of the text with it. So that's the way, if you need to use your PowerPoints to function as the information, so that way your actual slide always remains using the rule of 7. All right, so we've returned to that now. Now, after the rule of 7, you'll see that I've recommended that you always use a PowerPoint with white backgrounds. So if your data projector is projecting onto a whiteboard, onto a white wall, onto some type of screen, you'll have a white screen with your white background, and therefore you're using on your text, on your slide, the largest contrasting colour that you can find. So in this case it would be black, would be the most ideal colour there. So we can see this absolute opposite end of contrast that is the most clearest idea. So if I show you an example of a real no-no, and I see this way too often, we'll go to the design view. Have a look at this. It'll probably be worse for you there during a YouTube. So that is not at all appealing. Let's return it again. Okay, and the other thing that you want to do is keep your branding. So let's have a look at that in the next point. CRAP. That's a good acronym that you'll easily remember. Contrast, repetition, alignment, and proximity. Okay, so we've just talked here about the contrast. We also want a repetition of font, so we're not using more than one font, and the font would be, you know, Arial would be a lovely simple font, or whatever is actually set into your PowerPoints there. So let's have a little look. It's Lucidia Sans. All right, so whatever the template is, that's a lovely, clear, simple one. And then alignment. So we're being really careful to keep everything in a nice balanced structure. So it's good to use the inbuilt bullet points there, and you can come in and indent them as well. So let's say you were doing rule of 7. Instead of doing a major dot point there, you could come in here and just do a little indent if you needed one. Okay, so we're keeping it all nicely in alignment. You're not going to have one thing here and then get fancy and bounce one over somewhere else. Nice and simple in its structure. Okay, and finally we're looking at proximity. So that's where everything's placed in relation to each other. So if we've dropped 2 lines there, we're going to keep it uniform and drop 2 lines there. We're going to make sure that we've got lots of white space in our PowerPoint. The final